Hey guys, what is up? This is Captain Benjamin, and today guys, we're going to take a look at my $400 PC build guide. Alright guys, so for $400 I feel this build really gives you a lot. Not only is it an amazing deal from a performance per dollar price, but it's also a great deal in terms of upgradability. You just don't see that kind of thing in PC. It's usually either you, with the budget build, you either look towards future upgradability or you look toward just raw performance and do something like, use an older CPU architecture. But in this build, it doesn't do that. Also guys, something you're going to want to probably check out if you do plan on building this build is because prices this time of year just go up and down for PC parts because of the holiday season. I mean, you almost have as many price raises as, sales almost. So again, it's just a really weird time of the year. So if you feel something's too expensive, that's probably because the price rose. So you may want to look for an alternate cheaper part, or just see if you can find a sale somewhere, or another retailer that's going to sell you that part for a cheaper price. So, and also all current promos that are going on right now as I make this video, I've accounted for in the price, so when they expire, that it will not go significantly over the $400 target budget limit. Alright guys, with all that stuff out of the way, let's get into the actual hardware, which for our first component is going to be the CPU, and for the CPU I chose the AMD FX 4350. This is a quad-core processor, clocking in at 4.2 gigahertz. It uses the AM3 Plus socket and also has a relatively hot TDP of 125 watts. Now that I'm not too happy about, but again, the stock cooler should take care of that just fine. And so just one thing to note on this processor is compared to its Intel competitors, it is a better deal because, as I said, modern AAA games and just modern games in general, they love quad-core processors. They're going to do best on a quad-core processor, actual quad-core processor. And the i3, though it may be stronger per core, has only 2 actual physical cores as opposed to this processor has 4. I do get that the i3 has 2 virtual cores, but in reality that's not near what 4 actual cores is. So as I said, just again, this is a better deal all around, and I don't even think the Pentium competes with this, and not to mention it is also $30 lower than the i3, so I think this is just all around a better deal. Alright guys, for the motherboard, I chose the Asus M5 A78L-M motherboard. It uses a USB 3.0 socket. It utilizes also a micro ATX form factor, so you can fit this sucker into a lot of different cases, which is really awesome. And also, it obviously uses an AM3 Plus socket and supports 32 gigabytes of RAM. Actually, one thing I always like to note on motherboards, if it has a good PCI Express layout, and it does on this one, because they put the PCI X1 slot above the PCI X16 slot, which is awesome because sometimes they put it below the graphics card. If you have a bulky sound card or wireless card that will block GPU intake, and that is just annoying. Or sometimes the GPU covers a slot, an X1 slot, which I don't really get why they even bother with that, but you know what, whatever. I guess maybe they figure you're using integrated graphics or something. I don't know. And also, there's PCI legacy slots positioned below the X16 slot, so if you have any legacy peripherals, you can do that too. Alright guys, for the RAM, I chose the Must-Get Enhanced Eco 2 8GB set. Honestly, you can just choose any 8GB set of DDR3 you want. And this is, by the way, DDR3L, so again, it's, I guess, a little bit of savings on power. I really don't understand integrating that into desktops. It's not like it's a huge savings or anything. Whether that's gonna, it's not like that's gonna determine, that you're gonna save a ton of money on your power supply. No, not really. It's not really that big of a deal, but it's just a nice thing to have, I guess. It is 240 pin, but as I said, honestly, just throw any 8GB set you want, or even if you want to save a little money and go with a 4GB set. For the hard drive, I chose a Seagate Barracuda 250GB drive. It uses SATA 6.0. Yeah, it runs at 7200 RPM. It has an 8MB cache and has a 3.5, uses a 3.5 inch bay. So this hard drive is just a generic hard drive, but again, this holiday season, you can potentially find flash sales or something, that's going to be a lot cheaper. Now, I chose this drive over anything that was on, you know, some kind of extreme sale, because those are going to go away super fast. So if I were to just include them with this build, it would only be a few days after I released the video, which honestly wouldn't make any sense. And so that's why, again, I went with this, because just as I said, it's kind of a standard price. But as I said, if you guys can find, you know, a terabyte drive or something for super cheap, you know, go for it. Or even better, if you can find an SSD on sale, you know, maybe on Black Friday, you can find something on newegg.com or wherever, you know, you shop for your PC stuff, you know, maybe even in a store. So it just, as I said, just make sure you're on the lookout, because, you know, storage is cheap at, you know, this time of year, especially since hard drives are kind of going out of style, SSDs coming in. I'd look for like a terabyte or 500 gigabyte drive that is going to be on sale that'll be super cheap. So honestly, just yeah, you can honestly just put any drive in the computer, but this is the one that I'm going to recommend just because it's kind of a standard price right now. Alright guys, so for the graphics card, I chose the EVGA GeForce GTX 950 Super Clocked Edition Gaming. So this graphics card is honestly really awesome. It's done by EVGA, so because the super clocked edition, it's going to have a higher factory overclock speed than other cards. So that's actually a really cool feature. And actually, right now it is the cheapest 950 available. But as I said, this is mainly where it applies. Is right now the economy with PC parts is just going up and down. This is mainly where you want to look. You might find another 950 for cheaper, so you're going to want to take a look at that. But this one does feature 2 gigabytes of RAM, and it does feature EVGA's ACX cooler. So again, which is, by the way, one of the most revered coolers in the tech community. So that's just something to note. And the EVGA honestly just makes awesome cards. Performance-wise, this card's actually quite amazing for the budget. You will likely see around 30 to 50 frames per second from low to medium settings. As I said, that's kind of a general rule. It might necessarily not apply to everything, but this is generally an awesome card. And yes, this game will play Minecraft at 60 FPS or over. It is an amazing card. Alright guys, for the case, I chose the Cooler Master Elite 430. This is a mid-tower case that supports both ATX and micro ATX boards. There are a lot of cool features about this case for the price. Actually, one downer before we go into that is it only supports USB 2.0, but not a big deal. It will not lag your peripherals. USB, I know that's something some people are worried about, is that it's going to lag your peripherals. No, USB 2.0 is way too big of a bandwidth still to lag your peripherals. So yeah, anyway, so let's get into the cool stuff. So the cool stuff is that this, first of all, has a bottom-mounted PSU, which with cheaper cases, they tend to do top-mounted PSUs. And then also, it has a side window, which I find actually really cool. It has a all kinds of fan mounting options. You can literally do top, front, rear, side, bottom. There's a lot of flexibility with this case. It's really like a high-end case, honestly, minus the USB 2.0 ports. And then also a cool thing about it is the fact that it does come with a single blue LED fan. Now, one thing to note about that is you probably will need a fan for at least the back, just to get some of that hot air out of there, especially with that hotter CPU you're going to have in there. But as I said, you might be able to scavenge one from an old PC you have, or, you know, whatever. And by the way, don't use that PC after you take a fan out of it. Do not recommend that. But as I said, if you've got an old PC you're going to throw away anyways, you know, just take a fan out of that, or order a fan. They're pretty cheap. I'm not going to include that into this build, though. That is, you know, based on personal discretion, however you want your fans to be set up in your case. Personally, I like one in the front, or one or two in the front generally, and one in the back. That's the design I like, but you know, your design might be different that you prefer. Alright guys, now for our final component, the power supply. For the power supply, I chose the Corsair Builders Series CX430, which is a 430 watt power supply. Honestly, just all around good power supply. Is of course 80 plus bronze certified. Honestly, I just wouldn't trust anything that isn't at least 80 plus certified. This thing is just all around a awesome unit. Corsair is has been very well received, I should say, within the PC gaming community and just PC enthusiast community at large. People really like their stuff. So yeah, I really encourage this power supply also because it includes upgradability options, because with that extra 100 watts or so, with this power supply. There's a lot you can do with that in the future. You know, let's say you wanted to get a 6-core AMD processor, you know, something from this FX 6000 series, you know, you could do that with this power supply, or you know, like the GTX 960. Alright guys, thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to like and comment, and also guys, do not forget to subscribe. I will have a Skylake $1,000 build coming up for you guys really soon here. Thanks for watching. See ya, have a good one.